GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advice. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Our friends with benefits.
Speaking of having a good time, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Dayton broke the G&T show. This is now the David Mack
Appreciation Hour. You assholes.
What is it about this guy that people love him so much? With his purple velvet cape and his crown. I thought it was a little much when he had us carry him in the studio on a throne. I am awesome! Look what I have done! Look what I have brought upon the world!
There is an urge to go, nya.
I heard rumors that you might be working on something else, but we won't prod much. I was going to say
I'm going to pry a little.
Dare you! How dare you ask me to change it? Do you not understand the majesty of my genius? And the guy sitting next to me looked at me like he was, like I'd cramped in his hat.
Yeah, it's the professionalism that sells the show. That's right.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to another G&T Supplemental. I'm Gettysburg 7, also known as Nick. To my left, your right, there she is in her hastily thrown-on sweats, Terry.
I won't even say. You know what I'm really wearing?
No.
You know those Vulcan Ale T-shirts we got from the convention?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm wearing.
My right, your left, wearing his diaper because he's so excited, but it is studded because he's Klingon. Ceridium.
Kapla! I am excited.
And Michael. And let me introduce our guests. First, we have some authors from the new Star Trek novel series, The Seekers, and I'll introduce them. First, we have Kevin, I'm So Sexy and I Know It, Dilmore.
I'm in a diaper, too.
Who is a New York
We went from
Times
kapla to kaplop.
And we have the always beautiful New York Times bestselling author, David Mack.
Hello.
And Dayton Ward.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Oh, sure. Just downplay his accomplishment. Nice.
New York Times bestselling author.
Right, why the fuck am I here at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night when I
and
get a game somewhere?
Tell me about it.
Good sport for Ask Dayton, Dayton Ward.
Welcome. Oh, my God.
Thanks.
I'm so happy you're here, and I apologize for being late, and I was a bad girl. So you'll just have to spank me later.
Kevin, oh, God.
Normally you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
Sure. No, is it true?
Cotton needs new shorts.
Pepper.
A bold move. Let's see if it.
Oh, that's right. It is Pepper. I actually watched that movie. Well, I can't say I watched it. How much did I see of it, Dayton? About 10 minutes?
Yeah, he slept through that movie.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, he said, let's spin up a movie, and then...
Kevin Dilmore,
that's
life
how
of the party.
I roll.
Did I
Kevin
hear
Dilmore, life of the party.
That's how I roll over.
Are the Royals really in first place? Is that true?
Is it true? Yeah, absolutely. This was just at shore leave. Dayton was working, and I was sleepy, so I slept through 2 movies. Watched like the first 8 minutes of Meatballs, and then woke up for the last 5 minutes of that, and then we started up Dodgeball, and I was awake for maybe the first 15 minutes of that, and then awake for the last 10 minutes of that.
And that was at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, roughly.
You're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh, dear.
Excuse me.
This is just like the interview with Mike Okuda.
I don't think so.
Right up to the cock-flavored lollipop bit. Then what?
Except he usually quotes Wet Hot American Summer, doesn't he?
Sorry, but even the visual of that. No. Oh my God! Well, welcome you guys. I'm so sorry that we were not able to cover the Shore Leave conference or convention this year. Thanks much to the schedule screw up with creation with the Star Trek Las Vegas. And I'm so excited that we're able to talk to you about how did it go? First off, tell me it was a blast.
It was a blast.
It was a blast, but frankly, it was overwhelming. I've been to, I don't know how many shore leaves we've been to, 6 or 8 of them probably, but I've never seen a response to books and, or at least, a premiere that we got for Seekers 1 and 2 out there.
Oh.
Where did they have you guys doing that? Was it in that main ballroom area or in one of the smaller rooms?
Well, we did the signing at Meet the Pros on Friday night, where Meet the Pros always is, which is that long corridor outside the ballrooms on the lower level.
Terry, it's not even as wide as your hallway, Terry, in your house.
Love it.
Okay, it's not a small corridor, but fine. And then we also had a panel specifically about the launch of the new series. We did that Saturday morning in one of the meeting rooms. I can't remember. I think it was one of the downstairs rooms, but I'm not sure about that. But that week, we got a pretty good crowd for that, and we were very lucky. We also had the artist Rob Caswell with us, whose work inspired and got the whole thing rolling for us a couple of years ago. So we were able to have kind of the entire Seekers creative team on deck for Shore Leave, and that was a real treat.
I think Seekers is one of the most anticipated series in a while. I mean, no pressure, but I mean,
pressure's off. I mean, the first 2 books. I mean, Dave's book is out, and ours is coming in a few weeks. There's nothing we can do to fix it.
Yeah, we're screwed now.
Horse is out of the barn, folks.
Oh, yeah.
But the success from Vanguard, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with what, the excitement behind the release of Seekers. So, congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, I hope the vast majority of book buyers out there are as excited about it as you guys are. If so, that will bode well. But we'll see. It'll do what it'll do. We've already been contracted to write 2 more books in the series. I start work on book 3 on September 15, and I think Dayton and Kevin start work on book 4 sometime not too long after that.
Yeah, we're gonna spend September writing our outline for what will be book 4, and then I expect we'll start probably in October, early to mid-October, I would think, because we have a April or March delivery date, Kevin?
I think it's March, but
March. I keep confusing it with other stuff. So yeah, March.
Yeah, but as soon as they give us the green light to go with the proposal, then we'll jump right in.
So anyway, so that's what September will be, is Kevin and I getting book 4's outline whipped into shape.
Now, clear up something for me, because there seemed to be some discussion on Facebook regarding the release date for Seekers 2.
August 26th is the official release date.
Okay.
That's when it'll drop on all your ebook devices, and that's the official computer date. I mean, it'll start showing up anywhere a week ahead of time, just based on when the bookstore gets their stock. But that's the date in the computer, and that's the date that they'll use for the ebook versions.
Okay. And some very lucky people got an advance copy.
48 or 50 lucky people were able to buy a copy from a bookseller that supports the convention every year, because Pocket Books was able to release a batch of them just for the event. So basically Shore Leave had an exclusive they got an exclusive for about a month. That's what you get, man. Suck on it, Creation.
Hey, I didn't get one either.
Well, hey, but you heard Dayton and Kevin, you heard what they were giving out at Creation, right?
The clap?
No, that's a given. No, the gold members were getting the omnibus version of some trilogy called Destiny.
No kidding. Well,
Somebody
that's cool.
some warehouse stock. All right.
And the captain's chair seat holders all receive book 1 in the fall, so Revelations and done.
Oh, that's very cool.
Well, that's cool.
Which
That's a novel way to remainder books.
Yeah. Exactly. We like to go to my office.
However,
we were just going to throw these in the street, but you people can have them.
That sounds suspiciously like John Van Sitter's emptying out a closet. So that's fine though. Better that than
it's
burning.
Like, wow, yeah. Look for us at a USO library near you.
I felt really bad for one lady. She was carrying 3 copies of the Destiny omnibus because there were 3
kids.
Yeah, her and her kids. So the poor woman had like Popeye arms by the end of the day.
I got one of those.
I use my copy. I use my copy.
You need to get some strange and work your left, Kevin.
Take it out to dinner first.
Yes.
I use my copy to chalk up my truck when I change the tires and road.
Wow.
Terry, this is what shore leave is like, by the way.
I'm so pissed I didn't go. I really am.
Oh, we got to have Kipley Brown in our booth. Stop it.
That is true. That is true. We did get to have Kipley Brown in our booth, so. Oh, well. But
if you take her home, that's an accomplishment. I mean,
I was trying to bring her home, and Janice kept saying no.
I'm thinking no. I mean, I have to say it was kind of cool because Kipley was there, and we love having Kipley, but when Emo showed up, I kind of got all fangirly. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, we all got squee when Emo Phillips was in our booth for a while.
Okay, that would have been fun. I'm a big fan of Emo Phillips. That would have been very cool.
An amazingly nice man.
He's so sweet. But you can
still rocking the Mo Howard haircut?
Oh, kinda. And it's all beautiful gray too. It looks great.
No, that's very cool. I am a big fan.
So we got to. That's what we got to do. But again, what I think you guys would also appreciate was, we got a very funny comment from a certain. Well, you already mentioned it was John Van Sitters, as he was walking by, and there was a very, very, very long line for autographs for Harlan Ellison, which I think was kind of a coup for him to get to be in a panel at Creation. And it was my understanding that, I don't know what, it was all kind of rumor based at that point as to whether or not Creation really thought that Harlan Ellison would draw. Do you believe this? And I think the comment that I heard was, oh yeah, tell me Creation authors won't draw. And I just thought that's exactly the sarcasm that we needed. It was perfect.
Well, I don't think any of us are going to put ourselves, anywhere near the level of Harlan Ellison and trying to, evaluate our effect on audience draw. Also, we just can't offer what Harlan offers, which is free lawsuit with every autograph.
I asked him to sign a screen grab from Star Trek Phase 2.
Nice.
I asked him to author one of David R. George's Crucible books. Because that's how I roll, motherfuckers.
I coerced somebody into having him actually say the phrase, "Get off my lawn" during the con.
Nice.
If I'd have been thinking, I would have done a copy of the Terminator DVD, but that might have been over. I'm sorry, am I talking off mute again? Shit.
I did see somebody scored a signed copy of the IDW series based on this script for City on the Edge of Forever, and I will admit that would have been pretty neat to add to a collection.
I'll tell you what, though, and if you've never read it, you really owe it to yourself to try to find a copy of the book that he put out several years ago through, I think it was a small press, and I can't remember. I think it's like White.
It's on my shelf. Hang on a second.
Yeah, but anyway, it's his original screenplay, his original treatment, all the revisions he did, plus this prolonged essay about the tortured production of the episode from his point of view, and it is classic Ellison. I mean, so if you are at all interested in his event from start to finish, or his perspective on it from start to finish, you owe it to yourself to find a copy of this book.
White Wolf Publishing.
Yeah, as soon as you said
wow.
it. I don't even know.
And it looks like my edition was from 1996.
Okay, so it's even older than I thought it was, but yeah. So good luck finding it, but if you do, it is definitely worth the read. It should sit right there next to Inside Star Trek, Cushman's books,
I gotta say, for a man who professes to hate that episode, he sure dines out on it a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah, he does.
It's kind of like winding up a toy and then just sitting back and watching, because I can listen to that all day.
That panel was just the most insane. Oh God, it was fantastic. It was everything I dreamed of.
I think the next Creation Con should have as its feature event George Takei and William Shatner having a pistols duel at dawn.
I was hoping for a dance-off.
But with Nerf guns.
That's not even fair.
Dance-off. No, they should just do it with
Aaron
Nerf guns.
Burr. That's all I think of now. Getting back to Seekers. Give us a little. You were talking about Rob Caswell, and another thing that we saw recently on Facebook was, I think it was you, David, that posted a picture that was released through Shore Leave. That was an ad. Is an ad from Pocket? What is this? It's got bullshit on it, and it's freaking beautiful.
It's a poster.
Yeah, it's a print that Rob did specifically for the show. It's a one-shot deal in terms of the artwork, but it's not like a cover for a forthcoming book or anything. It was artwork commissioned specifically to put on a print giveaway to people who bought the books.
Yeah, we used it as the idea was a sales incentive so that anybody at Shore Leave who bought both books 1 and 2 would get the poster sort of as a thank you. And then after supplies of book 2 ran out, because it's sold out within about the first hour of Meet the Pros, we then started giving away the posters as consolation prizes to people who weren't able to get book 2. So we kind of relaxed the rules as we went through the weekend. We gave them away to people who came to the panels. And we still have some left over. I just shipped about 6 of them today to Dayton in a cardboard tube, so he's going to have something special to announce with those one of these days. And the rest of them
later this weekend. Then.
And the rest of them I have. The rest of them I have, and I'm waiting to bring them to New York Comic-Con because basically the 3 of us who wrote the series and Rob, we all signed them before we went our separate ways at the end of Shore Leave. I brought them home, and the idea is to take them to New York Comic-Con because I'm hopefully going to be doing at least one signing at the Simon & Schuster booth for both Seekers 1 and for my upcoming book, Section 31, Disavowed, which hopefully, according to my editor, we will have copies of that ready in time to sell at New York Comic-Con, so I'm really looking forward to that. But we're going to give away the posters.
What are the dates of the New York Comic-Con?
9, 10, 11, and 12 of October, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
Cool.
And any posters that we don't give away then will become part of the gold package next year at Vegas.
It'll be the roughest toilet paper you ever used.
Triple ply. Over my dead body. I'll plaster my ceiling in my bedroom first.
Wow.
I like it. It's pretty. And for our listeners who haven't seen this, head over to David Mack page. I think you posted it there, correct? Your fan page.
It's all over the place. Yeah, it's on my.
It's so pretty.
Facebook.com/TheDavidMack. It's there. It's on my blog. It's everywhere.
I'm carrying a copy of it in my wallet.
And a little protected.
I'm soaking in it right now.
Is that the Endeavor in your wallet, or are you just happy to see it?
I think it's the Endeavor.
Speaking of which, I actually have a serious question. What was it like for you all to get back into the crew? Dave, you with the crew from the Sagittarius and Dayton and Kevin with the Endeavor, and to get back into that crew and writing them again.
Pretty cool.
Thank you. New York Times best-selling author, ladies and gentlemen.
Me good with words. No, seriously, it was like coming home again. I mean, we spent close to 8 years developing, or actually about 7 years over the course of 8 books, developing the Vanguard saga as a team, creatively bouncing ideas back and forth, and we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into developing these characters and figuring out who they were and what the style of life was aboard each ship. And then when we brought it to a close back in 2012, we were hanging out, me, Dayton, and Kevin, and a bunch of other Star Trek writers, just having a fun weekend in Kansas City. And Dayton and Kevin and I got to talking about the fact that we wanted to work on something again as a team, the kind of back and forth we'd had on Vanguard. And that was when I showed them, Rob Castle's thing, which they'd already seen before, but it kind of got us talking again. And that was when I think it was Dayton who suggested, he said, you wrote at the end of Storming Heaven that both the Endeavor and the Sagittarius went back out into the Taurus Reach on missions of exploration. So he suggested maybe we do 2 ships and we alternate not only authors from book to book, but we alternate ship focus, and we alternate the crews as well from book to book. And I liked it because it captured a lot of what we had done on Vanguard. It recaptured a lot of that working dynamic, but it was also a little bit different than what we'd done on Vanguard, a different take on the idea. And it was enough to get both of us, or all 3 of us, excited about the prospect of doing it.
And I'm very excited. The 3 of you may or may not know, or I'm sure Dayton does because he's probably sick and tired of hearing it, but I was never really a big TOS fan at all. I always kind of read the TNG books or anything after that. And it wasn't until actually Nick kind of got me hooked on Vanguard, and I started to read the Vanguard series that I gained a total appreciation for the entire original series era. And then, of course... And the crew of the Sagittarius became my favorite. I love that ship. I love the crew. I was a little heartbroken over certain things, but I'm okay now. And
this is again where Terry and I are it was the Endeavor. The Endeavor and its crew. Not that I didn't like the Sagittarius. It's just I really liked the captain of the Endeavor's story a lot. How she got there and the growth and all of that.
As far as picking up the characters again after Vanguard, I mean, to be honest, to me it wasn't all that different from going back to one of the other crews that I hadn't written for a couple of years. I mean, really, in real world time, it wasn't more than a couple of years between the last time I wrote Vanguard and when we started dicking around with Seekers. So, I mean, it wasn't, to me, it was just like writing one of the other crews again, because I've had intervals where I've gone 2 or 3 years between writing, let's say, the Next Generation crew. You know, flipping back into that mode is not that hard. So, but it was fun here because we had more of a personal take in the characters and the storylines. We had a lot more freedom to do the things that we, got away with that we could have never done, doing just a regular original series or next gen novel. And what got me motivated about it was the excitement that came back the other way from the publisher and from the licensor. I mean, John Van Sitters and Margaret Clark and all that, they were on board with not even hesitation. They were like, what, guy's going to do more Vanguard? Or the guys from Vanguard are going to write more stuff like Vanguard? Go. That's what we heard.
Awesome. That's great.
Oh.
Yeah, I think, Dayton, were you the person who sent in the original pitch on behalf of all of us?
I wrote up a pitch, and I had Dave look it over and refine it and add some stuff and polish it up a little bit in his style and made sure that we were all talking on the same wavelength. And then I pitched it, and then as soon as we said, yeah, go for it, we both had to say, well, we can't do it right away. Because Dave and I both were committed to other projects. It was, I think Dave was either hip deep or neck deep in the Cold Equations trilogy. And then I was somewhere in the same depth with the TOS book I was writing at the time, the History Shadow book. And then we both had books for the fall miniseries. And so it wasn't until all that got out of the way that we actually got a chance to go back to the stuff that we had submitted almost, 6-8 months previously and start. So it was funny. Oh yeah, go. Oh, wait a minute. We can't.
And there was also one other hurdle that had to be cleared before we could get started, which was that after I finished my work on the fall, on A Ceremony of Losses, that was pretty much the end of my contract up to that point. Yeah. My contract ran out, so I had to negotiate a new contract with Simon & Schuster for 4 books. I originally only wanted to sign for 2. They wanted me to do 4, so we had to discuss terms and hack that out. And but the deal eventually got worked out for 2 books for Seekers and 2 books for Section 31, and with generous gaps in between to let me work on other things.
Nice. Well, speaking of Section 31,
and there was a little.
I was all excited to see that too. Sorry, that's my squee. It comes out every so often. I apologize now. So
I'm into that. They have pills for that.
Is it true, Dave, that you only have blue M&Ms as part of your contract in the bowl?
I don't think they're M&Ms. I'm pretty sure there's some other blue pill they're feeding me.
Heavy and not Dastani, motherfuckers.
But also there was some time in the interim as well, because, and this is something that Dave can speak to better than me, but part of the kind of part and parcel of this whole smash was Rob Caswell's involvement in the final press of having these covers. I mean, there was covers that he did that were more inspirational to us that he did just as fan art. But when we went to Simon & Schuster with his proposal, one of the things that we were pretty clear about was that we very much wanted the artist who inspired us to start thinking along this line in the first place to be involved in covers as they would appear on book stands, and Dave was instrumental in helping make that happen.
Yeah, I was adamant about the fact that Rob had to be a component of the creative team going forward, because it wasn't just the idea of pulling retro look and feel. I mean, he had, sort of captured the spirit of those old Bantam covers for the James Blish anthologies, the adaptations he had done of the episodes. And, to a certain extent, it also evoked the Alan Dean Foster Star Trek logs, which were the animated series adaptations. And it was very important because also he had come up with the name. He had called it The Seekers in his fan art series. And although we had tweaked it a little bit so that it was just Star Trek Seekers, we dropped the. It was still his name. And, you know, it was still his title. And the whole retro concept would have been basically taking his work. And I just made it very clear to the folks at Pocket. I said, I'm not going to feel comfortable going forward with this when so much of the creative inspiration came from this guy if he's not professionally involved. I think he's earned it. We inspired him. You can see from his blog posts on DeviantArt how much he loved Vanguard, which is why, you know, he incorporated Masao Okazaki's design for the Sagittarius, you know, why he used that ship as the star, as the hero ship for his, you know, imaginary, you know, book series. And it's like, we inspired him, he inspired us. It's a cycle of inspiration, and I said it would be very bad karma if we were to take this vision of his and try to run with it and not involve him. I said, I wouldn't feel good about it, and I'm not going to do it unless he comes with us. And the best part of it was I managed to persuade the folks at Pocket to let me be the one to break the good news to Rob. I said, look, you know, I know that I can't talk, you know, specifications. That's the art department's job. I can't talk money or contracts. That's editorial and production's job. I'm not going to talk about all that, but I want the first he hears of this, that it's happening, that we're going forward, that we're going to take this idea of his and make it real, make it actually happen. I want that to be a conversation that happens creator to creator. And because I said I feel that's very important, and they very graciously allowed me to be the one to make that call.
I think it's also,
that is so cool.
Sorry. I think it's also worth pointing out that the guy that Rob, you know, has previous Trek cred. He did artwork for the old FASA role-playing game back in the 80s and the 90s. He did a lot of the interior artwork for the Next Generation Tech Manual. That's the one I remember offhand. Right. I think he did some other stuff for some of the other expansion modules or whatnot. I know I still have them in a box somewhere, but in fact, I kicked myself in the head when I got to shore leave and realized I had forgotten to take my copy of the old FASA Tech Manual for him to sign. I love to find quirky stuff that some of these guys do. You know, they're like the books that they've done that aren't necessarily the first thing you think of. I love finding one of those and taking them to have these guys sign it at these conventions.
Like the last World War.
Yeah, that fucking hack. Yeah,
or Gargantua.
I was about to say, it's no Gargantua.
I got Keith to sign Gargantua one year, and it totally blew his brain that I had it. Not only did I have it, but I had it in a poly bag, too. Just screw with him. So
I thought it just so it wouldn't leak out and touch the other stuff.
Well, I didn't want it to touch any of my other books. I didn't want it to contaminate anything on my shelf. So I don't even have my porn in poly bags, but I put that in a bag.
Keith together.
I put my porn in poly bags for evidentiary purposes.
I just hate myself for not taking it. Oh well.
Even Keith DeCandido's books need to wear rubbers. That's all.
Poor Keith.
Well, Rob Caswell has an extraordinary talent, and thank you all for kind of teaming up to help him out to be a part of the whole thing, because it is very reminiscent and inspired, like you said, by the Blish books. And the Blish books are some of the only books that my husband ever kept from when he was young. So we still have our Blish books, and they're the ones that we're still in the family library when we went up to Idaho to bring everything home. So it was fun. It was just really special to kind of see those books and see, now I understand why. And they were so important.
Oh, the first real, I don't even know how to describe this. The first real outward expression, quote unquote, the time I came out as a Star Trek fan would have been in 5th grade, and I got through the Scholastic Book Club a poster that was Star Trek. I got Star Trek Log 1 and a poster that I later learned was the cover of the Blish book Star Trek 4, with a black space scene and this kind of planet on the bottom and the Enterprise flying through. And that poster meant the world to me. I mean, I had it up in my room for years until it just got brittle enough that it tore and was just ruined.
It finally fell apart.
It did, but a number of years later, just like 4 or 5 Christmases ago, I guess, Dayton pulled a rabbit out of his hat via eBay and replaced that poster for me, which I have
Dayton,
now framed.
You sneaky boy.
I love you, Lunchbox. You're my boy, Blue.
But really, it's just, I mean, you know, if I was, I mean, the things that and that, yeah, it's like we're old marrieds, but but truly, it's when I look at those Blish covers and think back to the cartoons, they were the first real tangible connections to me and with Star Trek, and what inspired my imagination. So I mean, looking at those Blish covers and just imagining what was on the inside of those pages with those art, it's the first time that really got me, you know, thinking about a big grander universe of Star Trek beyond just what I saw on TV.
Well, I gotta tell you, my mom called me last night and she was like, "Hey, I was cleaning and I found some stuff. I'm not sure. I was going to throw it out, but I want to check with you first." I was like, "Okay. Well, what'd you find?" She was like, "I found a big box of like baseball cards, but they're from Star Trek: The Motion Picture." I said, "If you throw those out, I will cut you and throw you in the Yantic River. Don't you dare." And she was like, "Yeah." And there's a comic book in there of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which was the adaptation.
Oh, cool.
I was like, "Mom, those are from 1979. Don't throw them away."
Go get them. I
want to talk to you about these magazines, young man.
Why are the pages sticking together?
She gave those to my father. But I mean, I can't wait because when I was a kid, I actually wrote a fan letter to Stephen Collins. Yeah, I said it.
No, I wrote fan letters all the time. Did he respond?
I got a robo response.
Well, but still.
From like Fitchville, Connecticut, which I know Stephen Collins has no idea where that is because it was at the bottom of the hill of where I lived. So
you never know. Well, I wrote a mess of fan mail when I was in middle and high school, and you never know. Brooke Shields wrote me back. I mean, and I had the autograph like double checked. It's her handwriting, a whole postcard back when.
You're on the restraining order.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. I know it was her, but her attorney, her attorney's signature is right next to it, so I know it's legit.
Kevin's like Sheldon Cooper. He's got all his signatures on restraining orders.
I got my wall of fame of all my cease and desist and restraining orders that
Well, you just don't know. I mean, sometimes people will take a minute and write back. It's very cool. So
I have a little story along those lines. I still am, but I was a very, very big Barry Manilow fan when I was younger. And
publicly?
Oh, I am. Hey, what else do I admit? What's my favorite band?
Air Supply.
America. No, Toto. It's Toto. My favorite band's Toto.
Hey, you know what? The guy one of the leads from Toto is touring with Ringo Starr this year.
I know.
They're going to be
he was just here a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll see him in October.
Is that a real band? Is Toto a real band?
It's a real band.
No, it's not.
I promise you.
No, it's not.
Well, either way, I was a big fan. I was a big Manilow fan, and my younger brother Chris, bastard, he ended up getting backstage passes to one of the concerts and went. He hated Barry Manilow.
But went backstage.
He went, and then apparently had a horrible pang of guilt when he was there and realized that the big fan in the family wasn't the one given the ticket. And he told Barry that I got this ticket and I went, even though I don't like you. I got a wonderful letter from Barry Manilow.
Wow.
It was very nice. I still have it with the picture and everything. And it was he goes, "I met your brother." And he felt really guilty. And so he goes, I decided to help him out. And so happy birthday. It was for my birthday. It was very nice.
Oh, it's very cool.
It was very cool.
I wrote a fan letter to the Tiger from Siegfried and Roy telling him how much I enjoyed his work. And he said, "Really? That's great."
Oh.
Wow. How long have you been waiting to tell that joke?
Years, my friend.
The only thing I've got that's like that was when I was a kid, I used to work at Tampa Stadium, the Bucks games.
The real sombrero, right?
The real sombrero. And one night
before they made it to the NFL, right?
Yeah, funny guy. They were doing a Monday Night Football game there. So this was back in the early 80s. So Fran Tarkenton, Howard Cosell, those guys were the lineup for Monday Night Football. And Fran Tarkenton was having an autograph session for all the kids who were vendors at the stadium. And I didn't get to go because I was already being put to work. So I was already doing my thing up and down the stairs in the stadium. And the lady who ran the concession area where we got all of our product had heard about the fact that I really wanted to go and couldn't make it. And she somehow got a message up to the booth where they were doing their thing. And the guy sent me a full-blown 8x10 8x10 color glossy autograph, personalized, the whole thing.
Oh,
Whereas
cool.
everybody else was getting scribbles on their little pieces of paper or whatever they could stick in front of him. I got the full ride. So
nice.
Like, okay, Fran Tarkenton's my hero again for 10 minutes. No, I really wanted to go. I mean, and back then he was the guy that everybody, the kids looked up to.
Absolutely, yeah.
That was my nerd moment.
So tell them about the autograph you skipped getting at Pasadena.
That I skipped getting?
Didn't you skip an autograph at Grand Slam?
Oh, back in the day, like back in the 80s when they were doing the 20th anniversary of the original series, like they do now. This is still a creation show back then, but back then you could pay your ticket and you could get every autograph from anybody who was there. Like you could just run down the line and get autographs. I missed out, and I wasn't an autograph hound, so I did not get all 7 of the original cast and Roddenberry when I could have just walked up and got them all. Of course now Shatner asks $150 a pop or whatever it is he does.
Something close, so yeah.
I don't chase autographs. I never really have, but
a solid gold casket costs a lot.
Yeah.
And launching it into space costs even more.
Even more.
Every once in a while I get a nerd thing going for a particular autograph, but I don't, as a general rule, go chasing after them.
Right.
So
the place where I've enjoyed getting my autographs most was when I was working for the Communicator. I would interview somebody and then send them copies of the magazine, usually send 3 or 4 copies once I got my comps, and I would always put in a self-addressed stamped envelope with a letter thanking them for the interview, and then asking, if you don't like it, please tell me because I want to do better next time. But if you like it enough, would you mind signing right on the article and mailing it back to me? And there wasn't anybody I ever did that with who did not send it back.
That's cool.
And so I got Keith Birdsong had signed the page that we did when I did a story on the stamp. So even though it's not the stamp or any real art, it's just a page in the magazine, but I've got his autograph on that. I was reminded just, with the news of Arlene Martell's passing, which was real sad because I had a chance to interview her once live and once on the phone. She did that for me, signed something and sent it back. Barbara Luna had done it. There's just a number of different actors, actresses, writers. Anybody that I sent something off to was always kind enough to sign that magazine and send them back. We got a great letter, and God, I feel like an idiot because I'm going to forget his name. Dayton, who wrote Balance of Terror?
Paul Schneider.
Yes. Remember, he wrote us back.
Yeah, he wrote us back a typeset, an old school, like on a manual typewriter thank you note. Because
No, really?
Yeah,
That's
interviewed
cool.
him for an article that we did on war, I think, Star Trek and War.
Yeah, it was Star Trek and War.
And he wrote us back. I still have it in the file somewhere, wherever.
Oh, it's so cool.
But yeah, he wrote us back an old school typewritten thank you letter and appreciating what we did with the interview and the research and all that stuff. It was
unlike that cotton stationery. I mean, where you could see the grain in it. Man, it's so cool.
I got a letter from Hugh Hefner once.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I won't tell you what I got from Hugh Hefner.
The clap.
Crabs.
You guys are gonna laugh. No, I got a lollipop.
My dad back to that.
Like Dave talked about.
No, my dad
Your
was a member.
favorite flavor?
My dad was a member of the old Playboys Club. Remember those?
Oh, with the key holders. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a member of the one in L.A., and my mom and dad would go all the time because they always had the best jazz playing. Well, I was, young enough to be ignored, so I went to the Playboy Club all the time. It was great.
Wait, with your rack, you were ignored?
No, honey, I was 7.
Oh.
I might have been 7.
Wow. Mike, I can't believe you said that.
I went to the Playboy Club for the music.
No, I read the magazine for the articles.
Yeah, I go to the Hustler Club for the steaks.
I did learn how to bunny dip. I did.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry. What? Bunny dip? What? Okay,
I learned how to do the bunny dip.
Well, then I've got a copy of the poster just for you, but it has to be
just for you.
Well, Kevin, I got stopped by Barbara Luna last week at the convention because she told me that I was totally rocking the scan. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
she's
right.
She's a very nice lady. We met her. I've met her 2 or 3 times at Comic-Con last time. But I want to hear Dave's story. What'd you get from Hefner?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a nice letter from him when I was back in college. My senior year, I was running the humor magazine at NYU. It was a magazine called The Plague, and the final issue we did under my stewardship as executive editor was a parody of Playboy, which we called Plague Boy.
Nice.
And it was pitch perfect, working with my buddy Glenn Howman. We matched all their fonts perfectly. We got got their layout. It was a pitch perfect, in terms of look and feel and layout and design. It looked just like it. We even had like a fold out, centerfold.
Nice. It sounds like a Lampoon level of parody.
Exactly. Total Lampoon level. And it had like one authentic element, which was the interview. I interviewed the now late Al Goldstein, who at the time was the publisher of Screw Magazine. And we got the interview. We asked him, we called up his office, we explained what we were doing and asked for the interview. And he said, I'll do it on one condition. I don't want to be asked the same lame, stupid questions I get every time I do an interview. So you're going to have to impress me. So we went in, me and a guy named Lawrence Lewitton, who was a writer on the staff, and we had prepped a bunch of questions like, what wine goes with Captain Crunch?
Nice.
Or if you could have any superpower for a day, what would it be and what would you use it for?
Okay.
And things like this. And we just threw a whole bunch of these ridiculous questions at him, and he fielded them all brilliantly. We recorded the interview. It was great. We got some great photos of him, and we formatted it just like a Playboy interview.
That's fantastic.
Well, it turns out, we gave him copies of it when it came out. He loved it. He thought we did a great job. He called me. I came back to my dorm room one night about a week before graduation to a blinking message. I play it back, and I hear, David, this is Al Goldstein. I would like you to come work for me at Screw. Call me back.
Wow.
So a week before I graduated, I was offered a job at Screw, and, it was 1991 and the first Bush recession, so I took it.
Well, yeah. I mean, plus the fact that if nothing else, to learn at his hand on
First Amendment issues.
Right. Oh, my God.
Right. So it turns out Goldstein was personal friends with Hef. He gave a copy of Plague Boy to Hef, because we gave him several copies, one for his wall, a few for himself, whatever. He gave a copy to Hef, and I got a letter from Hef around the middle of the summer after it was published, and he said, I thought your Plague Boy parody of my magazine was quite brilliant. I don't think my legal department would agree, so I won't show it to them.
Oh, wow.
It was very cool.
I've never heard that story. That's awesome.
And of course, the answer about wine and Captain Crunch is that it's a trick question. Wine does not go with Captain Crunch. You always serve Captain Crunch with scotch.
I think he went with Meisterbrow.
Well, you can have a nice Merlot with Crunch Berry, though.
Oh, now see, I'd go with that. I'd do it that. Kind of a Riesling over the Vanilla Crunch, I think would work just fine.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Good
I don't know. I'm Shock Top and Cheerios for me.
Wow.
Breakfast of champions.
You have to have a little bit of the orange in there. I'm just saying.
Captain Crunch is pretty sweet. I'd probably go with an off-dry Riesling.
Yes, I think it's a great pairing.
It's pretentious, but yet obnoxious.
That would be you, Nick.
Oh.
It's a nice thing said to me today.
The only thing I've said to you today.
Oh, no.
I could also go with absurd yet flaccid. How about that? Heard that?
I heard that. That was a Robin Williams line, I think.
Yes, it was. I do that in tribute to the great Robin Williams.
Yes, that was. I absolutely remember that one.
Oh, wow.
So I listened to Reality What a Concept today. That was my. A lot of people picked up. So yeah, no, Lauderdale, Kevin Lauderdale, shot me a copy digitally because I haven't had one for decades, and we traded Facebook messages last night, and this morning in my inbox, he had downloaded the whole thing for me. So a little pirate radio.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of pirate radio, so Dave and Kevin and Dayton, so you got the Seekers coming. See, I'm trying to swing it back around.
The Seekers.
The Seekers, and now
no, not the. You keep
Seekers.
doing that.
I know.
Seekers.
I live in Maryland, and you also mentioned your Section 31.
Disavowed. Yeah, I love that cover. Did you see the cover?
Oh, the cover is fantastic.
Tim Bradstreet knocked that one out of the park.
And I'm dying to find out where did the picture? Where is it from?
Bob Greenberger has never looked better.
Actually, I said the same thing. I said to my wife, doesn't that look a little bit like Bob Greenberger? It was disturbing.
A lot like Bob.
Yeah, it does, really. Which
after the
troubles me to no end. I'm not sure where the photo reference came from. I know there was originally a different photo reference, but rights to the original photo ref couldn't be secured after much Herculean effort by the Pocket Art Department. But they eventually did get the rights to this likeness, and they got it approved. I don't know where they got it derive from. I suppose if I ever see Tim Bradstreet, I will ask him.
Well,
but I don't.
It certainly looks like him from his role in 24.
Maybe, or it might be something else he did. Could be a movie, could be a TV show.
It's great. It's a wonderful photo.
Yeah, it works really well. I mean, what's great is that Tim was able to take elements from a number of different sources and bring them together, and then he executed it in that trademark style of his, where you can see like the line in every whisker. It's really beautifully done. I think it's probably one of my favorite covers of any that have been on my books. It's definitely in the top 3.
It's very cool. It definitely stopped me cold when I saw it. But,
it captures the thriller vibe really well.
Very well. Mikey, did you have a question? You've been so quiet.
I'm in awe of the awesomeness that's in this room.
Thank you.
But
the one thing I'm in awe of is that I'm still sober.
I'm still diapered.
Yes.
But
when are you not?
That part
That's true.
I do have a question. A little bit off topic, so please bear with me.
Oh, yeah, because everything else
as opposed to anything else we've talked about on the show.
The question is for Kevin. Huggies or Depends?
Well, depends.
I see what you did there.
I smell what he did there.
Michael, please.
Miles away.
David has written a little bit about Star Trek Enterprise and Destiny, but have you guys ever considered writing for that particular series? I'm just curious.
You mean like what Christopher Bennett's doing, or just at all?
At all.
Well, we kind of did for the follow up to Intermere Darkler. Let's try that again.
That's as close as I've gotten.
We
have a couple. We have a couple of chapters in one of the Time 2 books where that is sort of set in that time frame, and then I was reminded of that actually because I'd forgotten about that. And then I did some stuff for History Shadow where I take that the Vulcan from Carbon Creek and use him.
That's true.
But as far as actual, straight up Enterprise, haven't been asked to do that. Wouldn't necessarily say no. I guess it would just depend on what they wanted and if I could come up with a storyline that I thought was fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me to be comfortable with it, I'd want to refamiliarize myself with the show, which actually I'm doing through the Blu-rays, and I will freely admit that I did not pay it as close attention in its first run that I've been doing lately, and I am enjoying rediscovering it.
We were saying that at the convention that it gets better on rewatch.
It really does.
I actually came back to it when I was doing research for History Shadow. I found myself rewatching a few episodes and thinking that I had judged it too harshly. I mean, it's still not my favorite of the shows. Don't get me wrong, but I think I had given it a short shrift. I think back during its original run, at least in the first couple of seasons. I thought it got better as it went on.
Oh yeah.
But some of the early episodes in the first couple of seasons I had forgotten were pretty good.
Yeah. There were some gems, that's for sure.
Sure. I mean, I had the same thing with Voyager.
Do you guys ever
I heard
Jan, like my fiance Janice is watching Enterprise now, and so I'm kind of rewatching it. No, over July 4th weekend we watched 16 episodes in a row.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Kevin, loan him some diapers.
And what's interesting?
Which stack should I pull from?
The only thing she had really watched before was
used or not used.
Ew.
Here, give me a sniff. I'll let you know.
Wow. Okay, 16 episodes.
She had only watched the original series, and she had just watched that like a month or two earlier. So she was watching these, and it's so much fun. And have you guys found yourself watching any of the series with someone who's never seen them and kind of seeing it through their eyes as they're discovering it?
Maybe just my kids.
I was going to say, have the girls watched it?
The girls they've watched episodes of the original, and they enjoy it. They don't enjoy everything. They and they've got good eyes too. They know how to pick out a turkey. But I haven't tried any of the and they've watched a few Next Gens, I think, with me when I'm like research a book or something. But they like the original. They have exceptional taste, my daughters.
Yeah, I have not done that. I guess the closest that I've gotten to that, even though I did not watch any of the episodes with her, I did pick out like what I would say, if you watch nothing else, here's 6 or 7 episodes of the original series to a friend of mine at work named Catherine Stano, who we have name-checked in Vanguard originally and now in Seekers. She's that's the name of the first officer on the Endeavor.
Yep.
So, and she was not, to be honest, it was one of those things, I mean, as weird stuff happens, we were at the end of a chapter in some of of Thunder, and there was a conversation between, I'm assuming it was between Katami and the engineer, and God, I just went blank on his name. It's not Gav. What was the name of our chief engineer?
Mog.
Thank you. Good God. And so I just listed off 3 or 4 names that I thought, well, these are kind of cool sounding names. I think Lynn Norton made the list because he's a guy that's a keepsake sculptor that does the great majority of the Starship ornaments that we do. Then we've name checked him a couple of times. We killed him off in spectacular fashion in our 4400 novel. So, but it was just, there was that list of names, and it just hung there. And Dave grabbed a name from that list that happened to be Catherine in the next book. And so that's how she ended up thrown into this universe. Not necessarily against her will, but certainly without her knowledge.
Well, I mean, she eventually learned about it because I remember throwing an email at Kevin at one point, like, "What's her background? Do we have any background on this character? We should make her a lesbian." He was like, "No, the name is not really that."
I don't think she'd like that very much.
She'd like that very much. I was like, "Well, has she tried it?" I mean, I kind of think.
We could arrange classes.
Funny.
Yeah, unlike Dayton and Kevin, I don't have kids, so I really haven't had anybody to introduce, the old stuff to, TNG, original series, what have you. Although I'm trying to find time in my schedule maybe to abduct an underprivileged child and introduce them to the original. But so far the opportunity has not presented itself.
Or you could just go down to the Mets dugout because they got nothing better to do. So
they're certainly not playing baseball.
So, one experiment, and I don't know if this blog or this podcast is archived anywhere, but Dave Gallanter and his wife Sam did a rewatch and would do a podcast about it. They'd usually do 2 episodes per podcast, and then they would take phone calls and stuff. I called into it probably 3 or 4 times myself just to chat about the episodes with them. But that was a lot of fun because Sam is very articulate, very funny, just an all-around awesome person, and to hear her first take on original series stuff, with a contemporary background, because they did this podcast, I think, just within the last year or so, and that was a lot of fun to listen to her responses to these episodes.
And that's kind of the fun. That's kind of the fun of Janice discovering, because she was watching it with her she was then 17-year-old, now 18-year-old daughter, and they were both vehemently opposed to Janice Rand because I'm getting these texts going, "Who is this woman that her only job is to bring coffee to the captain? What is that about?" And I wrote back and I was like, mid-1960s. That's what that's about. Stop it.
Well, I like the fact that it's changed, but it's a great to kind of harken back to that and realize, just look how much it has changed.
I think what would be interesting, to be honest, in that light, and I don't remember if she's ever been name checked in the J.J. Abrams films, but when they do this third one, wouldn't it be interesting to have a Janice Rand character pop up and be, re-envisioned?
They mentioned her. Oh no, they mentioned Chapel.
They mentioned Chapel in the first. Yeah, McCoy calls for Chapel in the first film, and then there's a line that completely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to talk about Into Darkness. In any event,
I'll say it. They fucked over Christine Chapel by saying she had to run from Kirk because he broke her heart.
Thank you.
It was I was.
Fuck you, JJ.
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying that I thought it was a squandering of a character.
No, yeah, that's the one. I've even watched Star Trek V more than once. That's the one movie I still can't bring myself to watch a second time.
I have yet to watch it a second time.
And it's a shame because I liked the performances.
There's a lot to like about it. No, there really is a lot to like about it. And but I just, and sorry not to take that on a totally different track. But yeah, I have not seen it a second time. Now I've said this to Dayton, and I'll say it to anybody. I did order that the Blu-ray that's coming out in September, that definitive package or whatever it is that they call it.
The one that actually has everything
roping together. Roping everything together in one package, and I will watch it a second time then.
Okay.
After that, you'll have a very pretty coaster.
I couldn't even get my nephews to sit down and watch it once.
Really? That surprises me because younger viewers are definitely find it exciting and fun to watch.
Well, 5 and 3, and
No, they're too young.
Okay.
Yeah, they just couldn't. But I try.
Yeah,
I try.
If you put like SpongeBob on the bridge,
There's always the animated series. I've referred people to the animated series more than once.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, they do watch that one from time to time.
Well, Kevin, you mentioned the 4400. Somebody, it's weird. That's the second time today somebody's mentioned that show to me because I've never seen it. If for the three of you, if there's 3 series like 4400, or I know Orphan Black comes up all the time, and I've got the Blu-ray of season 1 I still haven't seen yet. What are like 3 series each of you would recommend that people may have missed the first go-round that you think they should invest their time in?
How far back do we get to go?
However far you want. Now, if you
assuming that they're available either
on
digitally
like
or through.
Okay. Anybody want to go first?
I mean, obviously, Orphan Black comes to mind, Fringe, and I don't know, The Wire.
Oh, cool. Okay. So now that he's mentioned those 3, I'll do 3 others. Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Yep.
True Detective.
Oh yeah.
And
oh my God! I tried to sit through True Detective.
and now that Shout has done a full set, Hill Street Blues.
Ooh.
Those are series that I think are required viewing.
When did that happen?
Yeah.
Within the last couple of months.
Wow.
The entire series, all 7 seasons now exists on DVD. There were those 2 sets, the first and second season that came out a number of years ago. But Shout has done everything, and it's all in one nice, tidy little box.
Great series.
So it's Dayton's turn.
My turn, huh? Okay.
Planet of the Apes, beneath the Planet of the Apes.
And suck my dick on the Planet of the Apes. So,
my God.
I would go with China Beach. I've been going through that one as the season sets come out, and I am actually watching it for the first time since its original broadcast.
Wow.
And not even
Does
all
it
of
hold
that.
up?
It does hold up.
Interesting.
And I mean, I only watched the first couple of years before I lost track of it because of getting moved around or whatever. So I'm actually at the point now where I'm seeing episodes I have never seen because I just started on the 3rd season. And then Dark Skies, which is a conspiracy theory kind of show from the 90s. It's basically kind of like the X-Files, but it's the secret history of what happened after Roswell. It was one of the things I went back and rewatched when I was researching History Shadow. It kind of gets a bad rap because it came after the X-Files, and it was very similar in tone. And then the last one I'd recommend is The Shield, since we're doing the cop, with The Wire and the Homicide. I'll go with The Shield. That's the one that with Michael Chiklis as the corrupt cop, and I think that was the role that Michael Chiklis was born to play.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I loved him in The Commish, but he totally owns the role of Big Mackie. And the finale is one of the best series finales I have ever seen.
Now,
I'm still waiting for Richard Benjamin and Quark to come out on DVD.
It is out. I own it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the one.
I'm the one. You know what? I like the premise. I don't know. It's I did watch Salvage 1, sir. I kept waiting for Opie Cunningham to show up. Quark is not well written, but I love the characters, and I like the idea of it. And I'm a fan of Tim Thomerson. I mean, I may be the only guy out there who'll admit that. He was also in a really great. I'm trying to think of the either Dead Cop zombie movie or something that he did.
Trancers.
Yes.
Oh,
I love Trancers is a great movie.
Oh my God! I completely forgot that ever happened.
You guys are killing me.
I watched Krull 2 weeks ago.
I love that movie. Don't go there.
Really?
The soundtrack is great, but I haven't watched the movies.
Change the channel. What was that?
I haven't watched the movie for a while, but I love the soundtrack.
It was great. It was such a cheese fest. It really
right
was.
Up there with Hawk the Slayer.
Beastmaster.
Okay, wait, I'll amend my list for Small Wonder. I think that's something that people have watched.
No, stop it. Apologize to the audience for that.
Homeboys from outer space.
Now, is there
space nuts?
Is there a seeing as though, of course, we tend to focus on the Star Trek books? Are you guys writing for any other tie-ins right now?
Well, I guess I kind of am. In a month or so, I'll have 2 Batman books that will be in Hallmark Gold Crown stores for ages 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, I'll get it anyway.
That just made me so happy.
So it was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun. It's under our You're the Star of the Story program, so kids can put on a Batman mask and a Batman cape. There's a little medallion that has the bat symbol on it that has voice recognition software. So as you read the book and you hit certain catchphrases, it will trigger either sound effects or original music or character voices or whatever to kind of expand the story beyond the pages.
Tell me this comes out before Christmas.
Oh, way before Christmas. I'm not exactly sure when. It's going to be. It's what we call front of store. So when you walk into a Hallmark Gold Crown store, it'll be right there when you see it.
I'm gonna have to take a picture at work wearing the
I know what he's getting for Christmas.
So
yeah, it's gonna be up on his roof.
Be Batman.
It does not let you fly. It does not let you fly, Nick. Don't do that.
Sorry, I'm going to hold out for the dancing baby Groot.
Oh my God! How great was that movie?
Cool. I haven't seen it.
All right, no spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Technically, I am writing I don't know. I mean, I'm working on a tie-in novel, but I don't have a contract for it, so I can't announce it. I can't tell you anything about it, which is extraordinarily frustrating.
I'm sorry.
I'm about halfway through the manuscript. I have to have it done by September 15, so I can move on to Seekers number 3.
Yay.
Hopefully, by the time I finish writing it, I'll have a contract and a press release will have gone out, and I'll actually be able to tell people about it. Or not. We'll see.
And Dayton, what projects are you working on? I know you got the blog, which is awesome. You're still working on Seekers. You got other things, other irons in the fire, do you not?
Well,
even
right
for
now,
Star Trek?
Right now, I'm finishing the Next Generation novel that's due actually on September 15th. Must be a lucky day for writers.
Yeah.
That's Armageddon's Arrow, the Next Generation book that's post-fall. It comes after the fall miniseries. And then I've got, Kevin and I will be doing the outline for Seekers Book 4. So that'll take care of September. I have another outline for another book that I'm in a similar situation to Dave. I don't have a contract and I can't talk about it. So when and if that happens, I'll be able to do that. And then the only other thing I've got going that's pending is I'm going to do a short story for a series of anthologies that was created by Jonathan Mayberry and a couple other folks like Nancy Holder and Keith DeCanto called V-Wars. I'm going to do a short story for one of their anthologies that'll come out next year.
Fantastic.
Well, that reminds me, I do have something else coming down the pike. I have a novelette called Hell Road Whither. It's going to be part of the Apollo's Daughters
nice.
That's what I was going to ask about, yeah.
Yeah, I finished that story. It was accepted. The book, I think, is in the process of editing and production right now. I'm hoping it'll be out in the fall in time for New York Comic-Con. Again, fingers crossed. Don't know that for sure. All I can do is hope. And I have an original novel, which is the first 3 chapters and the synopsis are out on submission at multiple publishing houses, and I'm waiting for someone to respond. I'm hoping it finds a good home.
Yay.
Was Janine at Shore Leave? Or
No. I think she was busy moving. I don't think she made it to Shore Leave.
Oh, Terry, by the way, when you see Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm just going to say it cements my belief that Karen Gillian #1 on the list now.
Oh, boy. Hurry and laminate that sucker.
Oh, it's laminated.
Who was that?
Nebula.
Oh, okay, got it. Thanks. Okay.
I didn't know she was in the movie.
Went from Doctor Who companion to Killing Machine.
Well, to Oculus.
That's a natural career progression.
So, Oculus it got some decent reviews.
I liked it a lot. It's not. I can't even think of any blood in it. It's very like Hitchcockian in its tone. Yeah, very.
Hitchcock.
Yeah, very suspenseful.
I don't know. Cock coming out of Nick's mouth just doesn't seem that dirty.
But going in.
Hey, I don't mean to put words in his mouth. Certainly not a word like cock. I'm not going to put cock in Nick's mouth.
From the man that sat on my lap.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes, but Oculus, a blood-free but still tense.
Well,
thrill.
minimal blood, very tense. Some really amazing.
Sounds like date night at the Minetti house.
Visual tricks where I can't even describe it, but it's where younger versions of themselves are passing today, and because it's very creepy, Cool. Like The Ring. Kind of.
Okay, all right, I'll go with that.
Mike, do you have anything? Because you're just sitting there playing with your batleth.
I'm not saying wrong with that.
That was the kids are calling it today.
That's exactly how I'm feeling.
Like a man of many words, as you can
what's so great is I totally know where he's coming. He's there, and he just has this huge grin on his face. I know it, right, Mike?
From ear to ear.
The Nobulan grin.
I put it to shame, actually.
Well, as long as you don't have the tongue, we'll be all right.
Too many straight lines.
And not enough gay ones.
There is no
We need more gay ones.
When I hand out silver platters, I expect you to take them. I'm just saying. There. Now I shut them up. I'm sorry.
No, I'm fine.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about straight lines, gay lines, or anything, but John Barrowman was on Will Wheaton last night, and I may have had to fan off afterwards.
When we were at shore leave, what's Gwen's Eve Miles?
Eve Miles.
Or
Eve Miles.
Eve Miles was entertaining the crowds at least 2 Q&As, and then later in one of the drinking establishments with John Barrowman stories, and apparently he is a bit of a pistol on set with pranking and smart remarks and things like that. But she was very entertaining.
Did she prank call him? Did she prank call him at the show?
I don't know if she was trying to prank call him or just trying to call him, but I think she did try at least once.
She called somebody. I heard that she was in the Q&A and she called somebody. I thought it was Barrowman, but that's a third-hand account. So
yeah.
But I mean, my understanding is that her Q&As were very ribald.
Yeah,
she was pulling no punches with her stories.
I was in the first one listening, and everyone was entertaining her with double entendre town names from America because she loved that we were in Cockeysville.
Of course, blue balls, intercourse, and
they all made an appearance.
Nice.
Every year when I drive down to shore leave, there's an exit point, I think, at mile marker 104 in Maryland for Blue Ball Road.
Yep.
I think, wow, that would be a bad place to go park with your date. Don't go parking. Blue Ball Road.
That's up by Northeast.
It sounds like a Dylan lyric.
There's a picture
Don't
on
go parking on Blue Ball Road.
When you're driving up that way, when you're going north, around that exit, there's a town called Northeast, and there's a place there called Woody's Crab Shack, yet another double entendre. But it is amazing. Highly recommend. I've driven 2 hours just to go eat this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to talk double entendre? Go down to Outer Banks, North Carolina. There's a place called Dirty Dick's Crab Shack, and they sell T-shirts that say, "I got my crabs at Dirty Dick's," or from Dirty Dick's.
I'll get over to the other side of town. I'll get you a T-shirt, Dave. There's a place I love to eat. It's one of my absolute favorite places to eat. Next time you come to town, Nick will take you there. But it's called Stroud's. It's one of these places that does pan-fried chicken, chicken-fried steak, family-style, everything.
Family-style service.
Family-style service, and their shirts are, "We choke our own chickens."
Hey, what was the name of the place that you told me to go where I had the pancakes that were the best pancakes in history?
Oh, First Watch, right there by the double.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you leave this town hungry, it's your own damn fault.
Yep,
so
that
if you're
is
going
true.
to Kansas City, go to that place because it's amazing.
I'm hungry. God damn it.
Yeah, really.
Now I need to
We've
go to
covered
Waffle
movie
House.
reviews. We've covered restaurant reviews.
We actually talked about Seekers about 10 minutes.
Go buy Seekers.
Yeah, just go buy it.
Yeah, there's this book series called Star Trek Seekers. Check it out.
Dave has bunnies to feed.
No, not yet. Don't have bunnies yet. Have to get a house first.
Okay. Then help him get a house so he can have bunnies, would you, folks?
Will you put a pancake on its head for us?
We can't have bunnies. My dogs, I have bunnies around the house. They're all over the house.
Mangle them.
Well, yeah, but the bunnies I have are outside, right? They're the ones that
I know, because every time they sneeze, the dogs go crazy.
By the way, when rabbits sneeze, so cute. No,
so where are you guys going to be appearing in the near future?
Yeah, no kidding.
Kansas City House of Detention.
Yeah, we'll be at the Funny Bone in September. Then we're going to go.
Scared Straight, the adult.
The Golden Nugget. Yeah.
Well, Dayton and I actually just yesterday had our official Barnes & Noble has us up on the webpage, so we're official. On Saturday, the 6th of September, at the Barnes & Noble location at Oak Park Mall in Overland Park, Kansas, we'll be doing a Q&A and a signing of Seekers under the bill of Happy Birthday Star Trek, since we'll just be a few days off of Star Trek's 48th anniversary of its first broadcast.
You were asking on Facebook. You were asking for people to show up in cosplay costume.
Well, that's Barnes & Noble. The community relations folks are trying to make it an event, so they're asking if anybody wants to come out and hang out and make it a birthday party with some atmosphere. You know, come on out.
Well, that'd be fun.
I will be coming to the Betazoid wedding party participant.
Sweet. Somebody better get pictures.
I'll be dressed as John Lovitz in the SNL sketch with Shatner.
You in the funny shirt.
So, yeah.
You guys are going to be in New York. You're going to be in New York for Comic-Con. So.
Yeah, Dave will have signings. I'm hoping I might, depending on what the schedule is. If somebody wants me to sneak over and sign a book, I'll do that. But I'll be at the Hallmark booth.
You know what you got to do, Kevin, is you got to bring like a whole sheet of stickers with Dayton's signature on them. So when people bring up Seekers too, you slap in the sticker so they get Dayton's, and then you sign beneath it.
I would love to do that. The little sticker thing that I sent to Shore Leave that Bob was sticking in, people seem to be okay with that. So what's the difference?
Exactly.
But I'm sure we'll get together between now and then.
If you guys want to screw with having to peel them off and stick them in.
I don't care. I'd gladly do that.
Get them the lick
We'll
kind.
make Ed do it.
Make them lick the back.
Yeah. But no, they have those when you stick those things on the book, they're almost invisible. I mean, these almost address labels or whatever. I mean, it'd be perfect.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
Very cool.
Almost invisible.
Almost invisible. But yeah, so I'll be at New York Comic Con October 9, 10, 11, 12. With the Hallmark booth, and I never know whether anybody's going to try to book me in for a signing or not. But Dave will be there for Simon & Schuster, I hope, for sure.
And I was going to say, now, does Simon & Schuster typically have a booth at San Diego Comic Con as well?
They have for a number of years.
That's what I thought. But you weren't there when I was there.
Simon & Schuster will kind of swap out for author signings. They'll do some at their booth, and others they'll have in conjunction with the Mysterious Galaxy bookstore, which usually is pretty closely situated physically to the Simon & Schuster booth. We could see the booth from you could see one booth from the other this year.
Okay. Well, I'm very glad to hear that they are making an appearance and getting the word out about the books. So that's great.
Well, it was nice with at least for Seekers 1. It was on the cover was real prominently displayed with other covers on the backdrop of the Simon & Schuster booth. There were a couple of copies that were on display for people to look at, and I know they brought a number of them also for giveaway, and the giveaways were exhausted by Saturday from what I was told.
Wow.
So and then they had it for sale at Mysterious Galaxies, and I was told it sold out.
Wow. Well, we asked about TV shows and stuff. We've talked about Shore Leave and Vegas and New York City Comic Con, and we've got the bigger. I'll be at Baltimore Comic Con in a couple of weeks. What are some of the maybe smaller cons you guys have been to that you would tell people, take a look out for this? It's that you've been part of or just gone to as a fan.
Dave, you go to Farpoint, don't you?
I've been to Farpoint a couple of times.
I enjoyed Farpoint a lot.
I've been there a few times, and with any luck, I'll be there again this February. It's just incumbent upon them to actually follow up and actually invite me. And they sent me an email a couple of months ago to sound out my interest. I said, definitely, extend me the same courtesies you did last year, and I'm there. And I haven't heard anything back in months. So whether I'll be at Farpoint is entirely up to Farpoint at this point. Beyond that, Shore Leave is, pretty much my other mainstay of my convention appearance year to year. I don't really do many conventions because, for whatever reason, I don't get invited to many conventions. Most conventions just don't reach out to me, don't seem to think it's worth paying to bring me down or put me in a hotel room or whatever for a weekend. And I certainly don't feel like paying out of my own pocket to attend conventions. I'm not going to pay for a con membership. I'm not going to pay for my own hotel room if I have to travel long distance and lose some of my working time when I'm on deadline. I'm not going to do that at my own expense. Right. A con, if a con is going to bring me down, I expect them to at least put me up in a hotel room. And in return for that consideration, I'll try to work. I'll try to help move sales at the book table. I'll do signings. I'll do panels. I'll make myself available to the fan and try to add to the experience. But the con has to meet me halfway. Mm-hmm. And so far not a lot do.
Well, David and I, operate under the, pretty much the same thing. If that when we go to a convention, we go to work, and we hope some courtesies are extended back our way as well. So I think that's only fair.
Dave, do you sell a lot of copies of Kabuki when you're there?
Die right now.
Did you hear Kevin start chuckling as I asked?
I choked on a wiener or something. I don't know what happened.
Again?
Well, I'm not allowed to eat corn nuts anymore. I can't eat corn nuts anymore.
Kevin, it's just the reflex. After practice, it goes away.
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna take the bait.
But we've as far as like quote unquote regular shows, we really only have two, wouldn't you say?
We do. Shore leave, I guess. We had to miss shore leave a couple years because of scheduling conflicts, but I consider that one of our. I would like to keep considering that one of our regular habits. But we do one in Denver every year called Starfest because they like Dave says they extend us the courtesy of putting us up. They treat us very well. I think we work for our supper.
I think so.
We work throughout the weekend doing panels and we help out with the programming and stuff, and they treat us very well. Another one that's actually working its way up the chain, as far as I'm concerned, is a local show here in Kansas City. That's it's been going on for several years. It's called Planet Comic-Con, and in recent years, in particular, they've been expanding their guest list to include more novel writers and more artists.
That was on Heroes of Cosplay.
Yes. Heroes of Cosplay. It's been getting. In fact, they just recently moved. This is their second or third year in their new venue.
I think only their second.
This is their second year, and they changed venues. They were in a venue for a very long time over on the other side of town, and they outgrew that space and had to go and move up a little bit. So they basically went to Kansas City's main convention center downtown called Bartle Hall. And so last year was their first time there. This year they increased their footprint there by another 50% because of how many people that showed up last year, and they're looking to do it again next year. So they're doing it in increments. They're not like trying to go too far too fast like some of these shows do. They are increasing their size appropriately, and it's becoming a very fun show to attend every year.
I think they're really trying to jump up their game with the invited guests as well. Last convention this year, they had a reunion of the Next Gen cast that they flew Shatner in to MC, and
that was their biggest coup yet in terms of guesting, as far as I can.
I definitely would say that.
But I mean, they bring in folks like they'll bring in stuff from the hot shows, and they'll bring in some real fun nostalgia shows. They had Lee Majors and Lindsay Wagner. They had Aaron Gray and Gil Gerard. They had the usual suspects that you'd see at some of these shows. But I mean, like the Next Gen reunion was a big deal for these guys. But
they
handled
also
it
looks
well.
like they're doing a lot of support for the writers and the actual comic writers and for Lit.
There's a very respectable size creator community here in the Kansas City area and the neighboring region. I mean, as far north as Omaha and down into Oklahoma, and even some folks come up Texas. So there's a very large contingent of comics creators, novelists, artists that live in. I mean, Freddie Williams, who draws for DC Comics, he's one of their hot talents. He lives here in Kansas City. He used to be a Hallmarker.
Yeah, here in DC, they just had Awesome Con earlier in the year, which was kind of along the same lines. It's grown. It used to be called something else, but this was the first year they called it Awesome Con, and it sold out and did it kind of the same kind of thing as when you're talking about. And one of the things that I was going to ask is, now I know TV can make like a studio or a room look a lot bigger than it is, but on that Heroes of Cosplay, it looked like that was a big theater that they had the cosplay stuff in.
Good size. I don't think it's like Hall H at Comic-Con, or maybe it's not as big as the big hall at Vegas' con, the main one where they have all the big guests.
Oh, it's definitely not that big.
Not that big, but it's still a fairly good-sized auditorium.
Would you imagine it's probably about equal to the second stage in Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay, the DeForest Kelley.
It'd be like that. So I mean,
Yeah, I had a total fanboy. I was actually speechless at Vegas.
Oh, you were. I was a witness.
Well, no, the
that.
karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
When I was dancing and I turned around and I'm standing and I looked at this 6-foot-tall woman and I said, "Are you Chloe Dykstra?" And she said, "Yeah." And I just became frozen. I didn't know I was. It was crazy.
He does it around women.
And Michelle and Michelle. Yeah. Well, Terry set me up at Michelle from Star Trek Continues.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
Dr. McKenna.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
that.
I saw there was twin McKenna pictures.
It was
Christine, but yeah.
Yeah, our friend Christine cosplayed as Dr. McKenna. It was very cute.
If you guys are looking for a small con, come to Kansas City.
Cool.
Or not? I mean, we're not a small con. It's not. I wouldn't call it a small con anymore.
I was going to say I put in a link into the chat room for the one that we have here, which is very, 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 very small. We have two rather large, getting larger Comic Cons, but we have a very strict kind of science fiction convention. I wouldn't even call it a convention. It's more of a gathering at a bar here in Albuquerque called Bubonicon. I swear. Ask me. I don't know why, but it's been going on for 46 years now, I think.
We have a local con here that's kind of like that. It's a lit con. It's called Conquest, and it's been around for ages. I used to go to that one fairly frequently, but I don't go there as much as I used to. It's more, it's like you said, it's less a convention than it is a themed party where everybody knows everybody.
Right.
And I'm like, those are fun if you know anybody. If you don't, you tend to be on the outside looking in. And of course, after the 4,000th joke about media tie-in books, I'm like, why am I giving up Memorial Day weekend for this shit?
Dayton, it's on Memorial Day weekend. Dayton gets invited as a guest, but I do not. I have to go in as like his +1 because I don't have any writing credits that they acknowledge.
Yeah, so they barely acknowledge mine. So, because I always introduce myself as I'm Dayton Ward. I'm the guy who writes all those media tie-in books you guys hate so much, and I think I could get invited to that con. So, but I mean, media tie-in books are like porn. Nobody likes them, but everybody buys the fucking thing.
Well, I'm glad that you do what you do because I don't get my Star Trek any other way.
Well, Dave, I will tell you, I'm halfway through your book, and I tweeted you, and I flew through for like the first quarter of it in one sitting. Wow.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm in a better frame of mind now to pick it up.
Yeah, she said she was crying after the first chapter.
I was not crying. It was
Nobody even died. Nobody even died.
Yeah, they did.
No.
Well,
no.
Yeah, well, you assume. I don't know. I was just not in the right frame of mind to read it.
I'm not going to say anything, but you need to keep reading. That's all I'm
Of course I need to keep reading. For fuck's sake, of course I need
I'm honest. I was like Kevin. I was very overwhelmed by the response at Shore Leave last weekend. I mean, I have not ever been a part of something that's premiering at the show like that, where we are what's being premiered or what something that we were involved with is being premiered. So I was not prepared for the response we got. They were waiting in line when we got there to start signing autographs on Friday night. They had been waiting in line.
Yeah, and I started setting up our table, with our cover blow-ups and stuff.
It was there already. And,
I started setting up around 9:15, and people started getting in line. I said, "You realize we're not going to be doing anything for 45 minutes. I'm just getting set up." They go, "We want to be first in line. Yeah. We're going to wait here." And they stood there for 45 minutes while I set up the table.
10 o'clock. I got there right before 10 and then Dave's like, "Get your ass in your chair. Let's go to work." So.
Yeah, I showed up a couple minutes after because I was listening to Greg Cox and Marco Palmieri and walked out at like 10:02. I know, but I had no idea. I walked out at 10:02 and they were already signing books. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that is way beyond my experience of people interested in me signing their shit.
I don't know that I looked up from the table for the first hour. I mean, other than to say, hi and thank you and exchange words with people who read your books. I don't know that I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody else, like any of the other writers or our friends, for the first hour at least.
Wow, that's fantastic news, though. And really not that surprising considering how great Vanguard was and how it really built up the anticipation for Seekers.
I'm really excited. I came away from the weekend just all remotivated all over. I mean, it's not like I had lost motivation, but I had my existing motivation was further enhanced by the fact that we're responding to the series. I'm ready to dive back in and go to work again.
Mm-hmm. It was very creatively restorative.
Yeah, I'm eager to get to work on book 3 because I know that based on the delivery schedule, it's very likely to be out in time for next Shore Leave. So I'm hoping to have Seekers 3 at Shore Leave next year.
Yeah, Yeah.
And
The
it
books
sounds
are not-
like it was a really good shore leave because Kelly Medding had book had just come out too, so
Yeah,
it was a chance for her. So that's a really fun time for you guys. I'm really happy.
I actually got to meet Kelly finally. I finally actually got to meet her in person. We've exchanged.
Isn't she a doll?
I have never met her.
She's fantastic. I only got to talk to her for a few minutes in the bar one night, but I said Nick speaks very highly of you, and no. I mean, I meant it sincerely.
I know. I wasn't.
Nick is very, very very supportive and very loyal to Kelly, and I said, he speaks very highly of you. I'm glad we finally got a chance to meet because we've exchanged stuff on Twitter and Facebook, but it's not the same. And also, no, she was an absolute delight. She was great. She was having a ball. She was totally into the con vibe, with Saturday night dance fever and all that shit going on downstairs, which is not my thing. I prefer to drink.
She loves her con and her dancing.
Oh yeah.
Dave, you saw it at Farpoint. Her and I were dancing the entire night.
I didn't see any of that because I went to play poker and drink.
There you go.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because Kelly and I played poker with you guys.
That's right.
I actually met quite a few writers that I only met for the first time because I was on a panel with them or whatever, and that's usually a highlight for me is meeting new folks because the Star Trek folks tend to get put on the same panels and the other writers tend to get put on different panels, and it seems like in the last couple of years you don't really see a lot of crossing of the streams. I don't know if it's deliberate or just that's the way it happens, but this year there was a nice mix. I was on several panels.
I was on several panels with writers who didn't do tracks, so it was
fun. I got to meet some new people, have some cool conversations, and learn about what other people are working on. It's
we need
fun.
to get Swallow back.
Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping he comes next year.
I hope so too. I missed Scott Pearson this year. I'm looking forward to him coming back. I think there's a lot of people who, once they get a taste of it, want to come back. When circumstances allow, and first timers always have a great time at Shore Leave.
Well, for me, it's one of the few times I get to see the writers who are based out of New York or on the East Coast, and Kirsten Beyer makes the flight all the way from L.A., so it's one of the few times I get to see her, and she's like my big sister, bro.
Well, Shore Leave was my first convention, and that was because of Dave.
Yeah,
that's right. I remember that.
It's nice to hear that Shore Leave is still doing well and is giving such great attention to the book writers, to the novelists. And
it's hugely flattering.
I don't know what the attendance was like, but it was weird because the hotel was undergoing renovations while we were there, and like half the rooms were not available for use. So all of us were booking at the hotel would normally fill that hotel on the weekend were at satellite hotels across the street. And so there was this vibe like after the convention's day schedule was over, and people would mill in the bar or they'd go downstairs to video rooms or to the dance or whatever. There wasn't as much of a presence after hours, so you kind of got the illusion that maybe this con wasn't being as well attended, but then it ramps back up the next day and you're like, where did all these fucking people come from? This is awesome. No, but I mean that in a good way. It's like
that's great.
Yeah, that's very true. I think next year they'll be 100% back in the saddle. But that was the weird thing was on the regular hours the place was as teeming with people as usual, but on the the bookend hours, going down for breakfast or closing the bar, it was not nearly as full, and I think it's just because people were staying in other properties.
I gotta stop closing that fucking bar down.
I'm probably gonna go for the first time next year. Don't fade on me yet, honey.
It'll be fine.
You'll have a great time. I made a rule this year that when the lights came on the bar, I was going up to bed, and so then Dayton would come up and we'd start a movie and I'd sleep through that. It was great. But to just a little bit of background, I also was coming off of San Diego Comic-Con, and that's a really busy week for me, and I'm on my feet constantly for Hallmark when I'm out there.
Laundry and then shit. It was nasty.
Yeah, I really did. I got my whites done because I figured Dayton would appreciate that. But I
just underwear in the sink, Kevin. I say like John Candy and Steve Martin.
Yeah, my hand woke up between two pillows.
Hard pillows.
I had a triple threat going because I was the convention and I had day job considerations I was dealing with. I actually had my work laptop with me and I was working like after the day was done with the convention. I'm in the room doing work shit, and then I also the first night we were in town, I stayed up till 3:00 in the morning finishing an outline that I had to submit to an editor the next day.
Yeah, I will vouch for that. I mean, Dayton and I travel together a lot. I mean, I don't like going to a convention, especially to make an appearance unless we're going together. together. But I've never seen him put that kind of midnight oil on a trip, and that includes the first time we went to Comic-Con when we were trying to get a book done.
You're actually writing a book in the hotel room because they wanted it a week earlier than we thought they did. They moved our deadline up.
They moved our deadline.
Literally sitting in the hotel room typing like my fingers are going to fall off.
Well, next year we're hoping G&T is going to be awesome week for us because we'll go from shore leave right out to Vegas.
If the dates fall the way we hope they do.
Have they announced the dates for
6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th next year of August?
I don't know what shore leave.
6, 7, 8, and 9 is Vegas.
Yeah.
Shore leave next year is July 31, August 1st and 2nd.
Boom! Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent. So we're planning on a double con, which is going to be great. And they've already set the dates for 2016 too. Creation's already set the dates for 2016.
Well, they should have. I mean, to be honest, if you're gonna be a Star Trek convention in 2016, you better set your dates immediately.
Exactly.
Because you got to book yes.
Yes. Exactly.
And I understand they're thinking about increasing that to 5 full days in 2016.
They are. Well, I don't think they're increasing it to 5 days as much as they're doing what they're doing now, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, preview night Wednesday, which is turning into, for the vendors room, we were beat to hell because they kept
we were exhausted Thursday morning because it was open until 11.
11:30. Yeah,
11:30.
The vendors room was up until 11:30.
Well, then I don't know if they do it in Vegas, but they pull that shit in Comic-Con where the doors aren't supposed to open until 9:30, 10 o'clock, Kevin?
They announce in the program the doors open at 10. They announce the night before the doors open at 9:30, and then they actually open them at 9.
I don't understand.
No, I got to give them credit. The vendors room opened at 9:30 a.m. and that's what time.
They have to give people who pre-register something to do. So it looks like they open up the vendors room and
paint my house.
The good news is that this time they actually gave us 7 hours to set up our booths, and all the vendors actually had their booths ready to go at 6 p.m.
Yeah, because last year it was like the Enterprise in the motion picture. When you walked in the vendors room, his feet hanging down from the ceiling.
It'll be here on Tuesday. It was bad last year, but this year was good.
Well, I know Dayton and I had a great time in Vegas, and I know we'd come back, but I'll tell you right now that if San Diego and Shore Leave and Vegas are consecutive cons,
it's not happening.
Something's going to have to give, and I'll have to and it won't be San Diego because I have to go there for work. So I'll have to make a choice.
Which is part of the reason why we really want to make sure that we have the ability to cover Shore Leave next year. And I'm very pleased to hear that the dates probably won't conflict. So if so, then we'll be able to kind of.
You said that July 31st is the first day next year?
Yeah. That's the weekend before.
They'll do Vegas Stag next year. Kevin can't make it.
There you go.
Awesome.
We got a home in our booth. You know that.
Yes, definitely.
That's for damn sure. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Good luck I don't even want to say good luck. Congratulations on Seekers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any word on how the sales have been on it so far?
Too early to say.
Yeah. Well, definitely too early for us. The sales are great. They're 100% sell-through for everything that we've... The 48 they sold went like wildfire.
I guess if it's gonna hit the bestseller list, it'll happen. It usually happens 5 or so weeks after its official release date. That week.
Well, good luck.
That's what I remember thinking.
I think that's the Locust list.
Oh,
it's usually like 2 months.
Yeah, you're right.
That's usually 2 months. If it was going to hit the New York Times list, it would have done so already. So that ship has sailed.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it had already.
I had not heard.
And it's
not going to happen.
Dave, there's something called the G&T bump.
Oh.
But you guys were in Vegas when we needed you,
if you see a dermatologist, he can clear that right up.
Nice little topical.
Nice. I have some topical cream for that. That's right.
You need an fuck!
Analgesic.
Analgesic. It's called an analgesic.
Aspirin.
Anal.
The word is aspirin.
Well, I have started reading Seekers, and I am truly enjoying it so far. So thank you for that. I am definitely looking forward to finishing it, as well as the second book in the series, and later on next year, book 3 and 4. So thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you for reading, and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. What
guys have an open invite, you know that.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of time, brother.
Ask Kevin.
We can start that. Kevin, You up for that? Ask Kevin.
I'm pretty consistent with my
why do I hear
word
this?
answers.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was going to run away.
It's Dayton's gig. It's Dayton's gig.
I know.
Although I'm thinking of starting a vlog called The Mackdown.
I like it.
All right.
And you're gonna put the Mac down right on.
I just hear Dayton sigh at the beginning of every Ask Dayton now. And I didn't think last week's was a bad question.
I thought it was an okay question. I didn't have a problem with it. I'm just like, okay, what number are we at now? We're at the point where we
that
can't
was
keep the
my
fucking
fault.
number straight. No, we can't keep the fucking number straight. That's how many of these we've done. I was like, all right, I'm running out of things to count on.
I'm sorry. Realty checks that bad to have to count? I didn't think so.
What world?
Exactly. Well, either
It's
way.
a fun little thing. I do it. I treat it as a writing prompt because that's how I look at it.
Dave, do you actually read it?
Do I what?
No,
You
nobody
actually read
fucking
it?
reads it. I don't even fucking read it.
Read what?
Ask Dayton.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
No, I don't even fucking read it. I write the thing. I can't,
Wait, but do you post it as text? I thought it was an audio thing.
No, I posted the text. He reads it out loud. He reads the answer aloud on.
He reads it, yeah, but Dayton posts it. When I read it, it's in Fog Award.
Oh, you do post the text?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was only available by actually listening to the show, and that was just too much effort.
Now he'll buy one.
And now we know how many episodes Dave Mack has listened to.
The big
How many have I been on?
Twice as many as I have listened to. So.
I love you too.
There's a lot of hurt going here.
Like when I heard the Kardashian sisters had a book contract, I'm like, oh great, now they'll have written one more book than they've read.
I want to give Ceridium credit. For a Klingon, he eats very few of his books. So I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian can post a book of, publish a book of her fucking Instagram selfies. We should be able to compile all the Ask Dayton crap and make an ebook out of it.
That boggled my mind.
The quotable
Instagram,
thing,
Yeah. Although from what I heard, she's made more money off of this app game that she's created than anything she's done yet.
She didn't create shit.
Well, okay, that somebody created that she approved her being paid for her likeness on.
Right. That's like
it's getting ugly.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't create it. We can edit all this out later. Note to self: edit this part. I need a gig as Grumpy Cat's ghostwriter.
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be a good gig.
Yeah, I knew that I was in the wrong game when they had a book signing for Grumpy Cat.
They really?
Yes, they did.
They did.
Doing this publishing thing all. Yeah, I need to reevaluate my life choices.
On that note, Terry, take us home.
Oh my God! Thank you guys. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you,
You're
Dayton,
very welcome.
and thank Dave.
You're welcome.
So much.
I'm so thrilled, and I'm very happy. And congratulations on Seekers. Seekers 1 is out and is available at your favorite bookseller. Seekers 2 is out. You said when?
August 26th.
August 26th. All right.
The official
Again,
drop date.
from your mine's on pre-order. So.
And for those who are curious, Star Trek Section 31, Disavowed, drops on October 28th.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry.
So that's
my birthday's the 27th, Terry. Just saying.
All right. I'll send you a little.
So cancel the mail stripper and get him that book.
Deliver.
Oh no! What will Flappy the Clown do now?
No, that's Flappy the Clown. Isn't that the wife from the Duggars?
Dutch runners for everybody.
Wow.
Holy no. Yeah, he scares me sometimes.
All right, I need to go back to work.
Thanks again, everybody. And we welcome you back. You can see them also probably at Shore Leave next year in Baltimore, the last weekend of July. And I don't know, we'll see how it works out we can snake one of them for Vegas again.
Easy.
But, well, not in a verb. Well, kind of. No, I'm not going there. All right, we'll talk later.
Now I know why Dayton sighs.
It's true. It's true.
He's not able to tell us
He's
Good night. Say good
infinitely
night,
patient.
It's a Sharknado tie-in.
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
True.
Music for the G&T show is provided by Warp 11, Grethor, 5-Year Mission, and Andrew Allen's Smooth Federation.
G&T Show is a Busy Little Beaver production.